This is really now the outskirts of Cambridge. As you'll see during the ride, there's plenty of trees and green areas and stuff. There's also quite a bit of building work going on. Cambridge has been expanding massively over the last few years. Certain areas of the town have changed almost beyond recognition. Certainly people that have lived here all or most of their lives, like me, have seen huge change in the city. So we're going to go straight over at this roundabout. This is the Adam Brooks roundabout, we call it. And hopefully when you go over this roundabout you're going straight past it and not into the hospital. And so it's a huge place and has a worldwide reputation. So we're now moving on to join on to Hills Road. Now as we go down this road, Hills Road, a couple of little interesting snippets of history. Just on your right hand side here, opposite Homerton College, these houses, that house there, that is where Syd Barrett used to live, one of the founder members of Pink Floyd. He lived around here, and 2 or 3 other members of the band did as well. Roger Barrett was his real name, then became known as Syd Barrett. Him and Roger Waters, they went to school in this red brick building on your left, which I'll try to swivel into. So you can see that's some building work going on there at the moment. But that red brick building was the high school for boys, which they both went to, and then went on to great things in the band Pink Floyd, which effectively had its roots right where we are today. I've just taken a left down Brooklands Avenue here. It's a lovely road, tree lined, always has been. It's just a lovely road to drive down. On your right hand side, you can't see much of it at the moment, but there's a huge space here, lots of acres, that make up the Cambridge Botanic Gardens. Second only to Kew Gardens, I believe, in the sort of rankings for botanical gardens. It's certainly a lovely place to go around if that's your thing. Very peaceful, very beautiful. The plants, all the sorts of exotic plants. There's greenhouses with orchids, all sorts of things in there. So that's certainly one of the things, if you haven't visited Cambridge, you ought to put in your schedule when you come here. So yeah, on the right, Botanic Gardens. One of the entrances there. I don't think they use that entrance any longer, but certainly you can go in there. It's open most days. I think there's the formal entrance now. It's been moved to the corner of the Botanic Gardens where that sign is. That's where you're going. So we'll carry on down this road. I'm going to take a left here, I think. On your left is the Lees School, one of the bigger, if not the biggest, private school in Cambridge. And that's opposite this hotel here, the Royal Cambridge Hotel. Quite a convenient one if you're visiting. And straight opposite that is that new building there. It's the James Dyson building as part of the engineering labs, which has only just recently been completed. I've been lucky enough to go in there and have a look around in the course of my work. It's a fabulous place, and they breed a lot of talented engineers in there. So now we kind of cross this green common land over the river, which winds its way back to Grantchester, and you can see cattle grazing on the ground there. It's lovely to see. We're approaching an area called Newnham. We're going to turn right here towards the city. So literally only a short walk into the city from here, but most of the centre of the city has been pedestrianised, so nobody can drive or even cycle down there these days. This is quite a nice part of the town here. There'll be a mill pond on your right, where you can, and a pub called the Granter, and you can take a punt from there. And a very nice place to pick up a punt it is. It will take you onto the river, and you can then punt about a mile down the river or so, passing all of the major colleges. It's really quite beautiful. So I'm going to turn right here. This is one of those roads that's closed during the day, but at certain times of day it's open, and I believe it's open now. I hope so anyway, because I intend to drive down it. So 20-mile-an-hour zone, that's fair enough. The park motorcycles on the left, there's none there. It's a bit early for people visiting, but it's a nice place to park your motorcycle if you're visiting on two wheels. There's bollards here, which you don't want to drive over those if the road's closed, because they'll come up underneath your car and it's damage your car. So Queen's College on your left. There's 31 colleges in Cambridge. We're not going to see many of them, but we'll see some of them. There's another really popular pub here, the Anchor. Well, you can see there's someone there waiting for their early trade, with people coming to punt down the river. So Queen's College on our left there. You can perhaps see that sign there. We'll ride past there again a bit later, I think. Anchor's a nice pub. You can have a drink before you go on the pump, or probably best advised afterwards. And there's the river, we can see just over here, and that bridge there is quite famous. All the tourists like to come and see that. It's entirely made of straight pieces of wood, and was built by I believe engineers, mathematicians who wanted to build a bridge without fastenings, or so the legend goes. And at some point the story goes that they dismantled the bridge to see how it all went together, and they couldn't get it back together again without putting fasteners on it. So if you look now, there certainly are bolts and things on that bridge. That's the story anyway, but that's known locally as the mathematical bridge. And there's the mill pond behind us. That pub directly ahead where I'm looking is called the Mill. That's a nice pub. You can that gets very busy during the summer as people is one of probably the biggest place to go and get a punt, if that's what you want to do. And most people visiting Cambridge will want to do that on a day like today, where it's nice and sunny. So once the traffic clears, a few bikes coming past, and you have to get used to these bikes in Cambridge. They sort of get priority as well, so which is fair enough. So we're just going to pull out here and slowly ride down Silver Street. I'm actually going to let this lady out and just pull down this street here. One of the advantages of being on two wheels is you can just pop down here. This is called, I think, Laundress Lane or something, but it just joins us back down to the mill pond. I thought I'd take you down here so you can see the mill pub and the place to come if you want to get a punt. So here we go, that's where you get your punt. If you go, take the punt here and go to your right, you'll go past all the colleges. The other thing you can do, that's the mill pond area, you can instead take a punt here, which is, the river's slightly raised here, and there's a sort of weir over there, if that's what you call it, where the waters join the two, but this is slightly higher level. If you take your punt here, you sort of go in a direction outside of the city. And if you've got plenty of time, a lovely thing to do is to punt all the way out to a village called Grantchester, which we'll see later, which has been on the TV quite a lot recently with some detective drama or something on ITV4. So we'll have a look at that later, but you can punt from the city centre here out to Grantchester. Not the sort of thing you want to do unless you've punted, or you're proficient punting and relatively fit, because it will take you maybe an hour or so to get out there, if I remember rightly. I'll just spin the bike round here. The Doubletree Hotel used to be called the Garden House. One of the better known hotels, better appointed hotels I should say. So we'll just spin round here. The university centre on our right. This is sort of, I believe, the sort of social centre of the university just here. So as you can appreciate, it gets very busy. Lots of tourists here as well normally. And we'll ride up Mill Lane.